10 years ago, I read this paper that was focusing on the blockchain technology and saying that blockchain is going to solve the problem of trust, just like the steam engine solved the problem of power. And in the spirit of this, I was looking into different sayings about trust before coming here today. And I found this one, which is, trust is good, control is better. And being part of this community, I read it again and again, and I couldn't help myself. And I asked myself, well, why control if we can have transparency? And in the spirit of adapting a new technology and embracing change, I kind of felt like, okay, let's change this saying and do trust is good, transparency is better. So who likes this? Well, I'm happy to share that this is our mantra at Gainforest. So, and what is Gainforest? For some of you who don't know us, Gainforest is a transparency as a service platform for the reforestation project and the general regeneration movement. And I'm going to quickly explain how we work and what we do before we go into our pilot MeasuretoEarn and learn more about that. So traditionally, donors face this dilemma. They donate, but however, there is zero to little visibility on the impact of their donation in a reforestation project or in another conservation project. So here we use very important. So actually, they have to trust a lot because there is little transparency. And we use a very small trick here. Instead of channeling the donation directly to the local communities, we use a smart contract and put the donation into an escrow account. And this escrow account is actually triggering the donation with different remote sensing technologies and impact evaluations that we use. And once the impact evaluation validates the impact, this triggers the smart contract, which then pays out the donation to the local communities. And actually, our technology proves us trust is good, transparency is better. The donor gets a CID link, and we also offer a certificate, a dynamic non-fungible token. We also like to call them NFTs. They look like this. There we go. So they reflect the area and also give the donors a visibility on how the site is evolving. Here you see the water is increasing. If we take another turn around, you'll see this mangrove is actually doing even better. So we see the trees getting greener and the water is increasing here. And our impact evaluation, I briefly mentioned, works with remote sensing technology, but we also have drone images and on-the-field data collection that we are using here. Which brings me to MeasuretoEarn, a digital, decentralized, community-based MRV, transparent, open, and scalable. And for MeasuretoEarn, we have two paths. First path is proof of care. Proof of care is working for conservation projects that prevent deforestation. Here, the data that we are collecting is proving that the forest still stands and the biodiversity is still in the area. And then the second one is proof of growth. This is more used for reforestation projects. Here, the data sets are focusing on the growth of the seedlings and biodiversity coming back to a specific area. So we went out together with the Sandal Foundation, Climate Collective, and Filecoin to the Philippines and run a pilot late January, just this year. We were very lucky. Weather conditions were in our favor. And during this pilot, we had 40 community members participating. We collected the data for 300 mangroves and planted 300 seedlings. And in total, what you're going to see resulted in a payment of 350 CUSD directly paid to the communities. And I'm going to go and give more transparency on all these projects step by step in the next few moments. So we first started by educating and onboarding the community members on how to use the MeasuretoEarn technology. And turns out it was actually quite a bit of fun. So here they're pretending to be trees and measuring each other and learning how to use the measure-to-earn technology. And I think you agree, there are some happy faces there. Which then looks like this actually in the field. So here we see the ladies collecting the measurements of the mangroves and also taking pictures. It was very collaborative, 2 or 3 of them working together and sharing the mobile devices. Another example of seedling planting, here traditionally proof of growth, which we then geolocate for each of the planted seedlings. Also Angelo here from the Sandal Foundation helping with local translations and giving detailed instructions to the community members on their questions. And later on, we come for the data upload. Gives time to have a cookie. Here you see Camille, our partner from Oceanus Conservation. Edgy internet calls for a break, so everyone took advantage of this. Here you see the phones of the local community members. And then we come over to the transaction time, which was really, really exciting. Just getting and triggering the escrow, transferring over the payments directly to the local community members. The photos like unleashing and directly seeing the impact in the wallet. We're very lucky. We had a personal off-ramp directly converting again. Thank you, Angelo, into Filipino pesos. And at the end of the day, here you see your participants holding their certificate and being very, very happy. We've been asked when we will come back again because they loved Measure-to-Earn and they want to measure more, to earn more. I think what's next on our stage, just looking into time, of course, we are continuously evolving our AI algorithms and the automatic analysis tools that we are running. Here, we can track each and individual animal that is running into our camera. We also have an automatic analysis tool that captures every tree that has been measured, filmed with a drone. And we are also working closely with ETH Zurich and the MIT. Fun thing, here you see a drone attaching a wildlife cam on a branch of a tree, and we'll also compete in the X Prize semi-finals in June this year in Singapore to highlight some of these technologies and the different ways of monitoring the forest cover and biodiversity. Which which gives us enough time now for the demo, and we would like to take you another trip. There is the green globe that we would like to introduce today. The Green Gain Forest Globe that's inviting you to take a trip around the world and see the different projects that are out there and also the tree cover. And I would like to show you some of the functionalities, of course, that we have here. And we'll take you to a project that we are running in Paraguay, just right here, at the edge of the Defensores del Chaco National Forest, right here, where we are supporting the land of a dear friend called Silvino. So with this green globe, we offer the feature to track biodiversity in the area. So here you have the biodiversity tab. Edgy internet comes here. But we see the endangered species and different animals living in this area which are being protected. We also have biodiversity recordings with wild cameras. For example, here, one of our favorites, I think we briefly showed this one also at SBS Paris, or Cabavera, running in there. And of course, we also have our local community members and partners that are actually protecting the land here on the site, Silvino and Ellie, that you can read about and meet. And this is why we believe in transparency, because there's so much beauty in it, right? We also have a little chat function here. So if you happen to stumble upon something or you go into this area, whatever happens, feel free to share on Discord. We actually want to celebrate the spirit of transparency and bring more of this in there and encourage people to demand more of it. And having said this, I would also like to zoom out and show another project that we've been seeing. This is not a gainforest project. It's a project in northern Zimbabwe where carbon credits have been issued. I'm going to quickly go there. Hop. Here we are. Just loading. And for this project, there has been approximately 200 million carbon credits issued. Price per credit approximately $20. What we see though, and this is again the role where transparency comes in, and that if we look into the data that has been reported, there was approximately 80,000 US dollars that has been going to local communities. And very likely this figure is not true. So by demanding more transparency, we can also get more insights about what's really happening, and we can also see how our contributions are contributing to the local communities on site. Coming to our project in the Philippines, where we went into the details of providing transparency with Measure-to-Earn, and we would like to do this for many more projects and also offer the community to take advantage of this technology and actually see each transaction that has been done and given to the community members. Here we see them again, and we store them also on chain, where we can, just a second, follow up on this in very much detail and see each and one of them stored on Filecoin, immutable, out there, really tracking how the escrow is being triggered, how the smart contract is working in action. Having said enough about transactions, let's take also a quick look into the data that we are providing here. So I'd like to switch, of course. I didn't show you another feature of our green globe, which are the different maps. But first, let's take a look at into the trees. Remember the community members taking pictures with Measure-to-Earn. So we go. Here we have the trees, each one of them on the globe, saved out there. It's taking some time to load, and you can meet each one in single tree. And see how this tree is doing and how it actually looks like. Of course, some fun things happen as well. It's been very much of a cool experience to feel, to be a tree. So yeah, here we are experimenting, we are detecting these things. And that's part of the fun of bringing Measure-to-Earn and the technology out there in the field. Immutable also on Filecoin. Yeah, happy to show you a few more features on our map later on. Now, don't know how you feel. Any other questions you have?
That was incredible. I don't know if you saw my face the whole time and me hitting David, but are there any questions?
So a wonderful presentation, wonderful demo, really excited about all the prospects ahead. I'm super curious about some of the drone research that's going to come in advancement in the time to come, because like the ideal way to democratize some of this imagery on the ground, whether it's like infrared cameras or 360 cameras or what have you, and then affix them onto trees and then see these sorts of things is like, I feel the next stage of where this can go. Super incredible to see, geospatial data intermixed with this kind of user experience. I think it's wonderful. but I would love to know if there's like another direction you're going with the hardware and applying that on the ground with the folks that you've worked with. Like the surveys are amazing. What's the next step with the technology, if you can answer that? Thanks so much. This is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, so definitely, like we are looking into additional, like you saw the wildlife cams that we were hanging on the branches of the trees. Drones, luckily, are getting cheaper. So one of the ways that we are going forward, our planning is to equip the different projects on site with more drones, so they have continuous opportunities to use the drones images to upload additional data, which will make actually the whole technology much more efficient as well. I think I briefly showed the analysis tool that we are running here. So imagine the communities are taking pictures with a drone over the area which they are protecting, or running a reforestation project, any conservation project on. This is like giving them Measure-to-Earn in an instant, not only for one tree, but like thousands of trees. Happy to demo this separately later.
So taking it back to the front of your talk, and it was very interesting. I really appreciate you being here. So if I understand, you've kind of flipped the model. So you've got donations that are going to the escrow that are then, I guess, coming out based on impact. So is that escrow account funding the Measure-to-Earn as well as funding the people that are maybe planting those trees, growing those trees in a nursery, etc.? Like, is that, are all those escrow funds are being kind of split to all of those parts of the puzzle? Or I guess I'm trying to kind of figure out where the Measure-to-Earn fits in maybe this picture now that you brought it back to this slide.
So that's a very good question. And actually, this really depends on the project partner that we are working with on the ground, because each of them has also a different setup. So in this particular case in the Philippines, so Measure-to-Earn, we do, of course, proof of care for the forest, like for the mangroves existing out there, protecting them, measuring them, getting all the data, and then proof of growth for the seedlings which are being planted. And the community buys the seedlings. So there is the risk, of course, where they have to prove that they've planted the seedlings which they've been buying to then be remunerated on the Measure-to-Earn. This is the way we did it for this pilot, because this is the way the community is used to work for in the Philippines and the Surigao region. And of course, if we go to different parts of the world, there might be different norms, and we are adapting to this. Does it answer your question?
It does. And
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So the escrow in this very specific case is for, they're planting the seedling. The donation is like out there. And then the moment they come and upload the data, and this is being verified, the smart contract is triggered, and then they receive the payment directly on their wallet.
It's super exciting, because I think that the verification of impact is really the piece that, I mean, it's obviously part of what you're working on, but it's really the piece that we have to crack. It's one thing to issue certificates based on proposed impacts, but if we can't verify the impact is actually happening and then begin to quantify it in some sort of measurable way, the certificates aren't really worth much at the end of the day. So it's such an important piece of the puzzle. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
What's Gameforest's plan for implementing more projects? Are you going to project developers, or is there specific impact areas you're working on? What's the long-term vision of which projects that you'll service with the Measure-to-Earn?
Yeah. So far our strategy has been, of course, to partner up with like very trustful and trustworthy local partners, like the one Oceanus Conservation, led by Camille in the Philippines, or working with Silvino in Paraguay. Of course, going forward, we see our work to be really in like providing the transparency layer, and we are open to collaborate with different projects that are interested in using the Measure-to-Earn technology and give more transparency and change this game of trust and transparency for their own project and give this full visibility for what they're doing. So yeah, feel free to reach out.